Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 10 of Melodies of the Gods with Kate and Amy, your wonderful hosts. And as promised, today we will be talking about the last saga of Epic the Musical. So, welcome to episode 10, everyone.
We've had a lot of fun together so far.
So far, don't jinx it. This episode could break us apart. Still an emotional mess after it. And by the way, if you haven't...
I listened to it last night and I cried myself to sleep.
For the fans of Epic listening in, you should know that Ithica Saga is probably the most emotionally devastating saga Jorge's ever released, or anyone's ever produced in the history of the lifetime. It's worse than the Tarzan song You'll Be in My Heart.
Okay, so we get into this, or are we doing the thing I sent you on Instagram first?
You mean the one question we got?
No, the other thing, because I sent Amy this reel a few days ago.
Which Greek god? I thought we went over that. I think we should probably get Ithica out the way, because I can't go another day without talking about it.
Okay, so just a heads up, at the top of the episode, if you guys have not listened to Epic or Epic the Ithica Saga, there are major spoilers that are going to be in this podcast.
I mean, if you're not even a fan of anything Epic related, what are you even doing on this podcast? I mean, go away. If you're not a fan, we don't need your patronage. We really don't. Be gone. I think the one word to describe Ithica, the saga, would probably be devastatingly emotional. Just devastating. It's just devastating.
Yeah, I would say Epic the Ithica Saga is the most emotional saga I have listened to. And probably one of the most emotional albums I have listened to. Like, the challenge alone.
Yeah.
Was like, holy...
Hold 'em down got me. I was just like, what? I was like, no, Penelope. My poor girl. Okay,
this is like the shit out of me moment of the saga. Odysseus, when he's like, you plus has killed my son, you plan to rape my wife.
Yeah.
And he does that growl in it. It's like, holy shit.
I think the bit that got me, it was like, one of the studios was like, you killed the head of the snake, just let us go. And it's like, let's have open arms. And he was just like, nope. No, that's not happening.
Okay. He kind of sounded like the son in that though.
Exactly, I think that might have been the point. So for context sake, the way the Ithaca Saga goes, the names of the title is The Challenge, Hold 'em Down, Odysseus, I Can't Help But Wonder, which is an entire thing, and Would You Fall in Love With Me Again, which is the last song, and it is probably, I would say, my second favourite. I had a really hard time picking my favourite song of the saga. They're all amazing.
I would say I Can't Help But Wonder. Also, we got Athena back!
We did get Athena, severely scarred, but she's back. I was very happy with that. I was like, oh, thank God. I was watching the live stream and I was like, oh, thank God she's okay. What's with the scar, though?
Yes. Also, the way... Okay, let's go through song by song and then you can just, like, ramble for 5 minutes.
Sure, I could definitely do that.
Okay, the challenge. The way it starts off, just with Penelope's instrument and then her singing.
Her voice is exactly what I imagined it would be.
When she mentions the storm.
Because it was like right on the front of the beach, but her voice is exactly how I imagined it. And like her longing and heartbreak, you can actually hear it. And it's just like, girl, I'm so sorry you had to wait for so long. Fucking Hector. His fault. He should have died quicker. Okay. Continue, Kate.
Also, I've been watching so many animatics. I'm gonna send you an animatic after this.
Okay.
That is so good because it has like when she enters the hall, all the Caesars are in red, and then there's one figure that's in darker red. That is our guy.
Yeah, I will say the melody which we were introduced by Jorge's mum in the Underworld saga, Waiting. That like motif, she does it so well, and I'm like, I cried every time she said waiting. I was just like, oh yes, I've waited for that part of hers singing for so long, and it paid off because it was just like, it's so beautiful.
Let's just say that you were not wrong about her being really good on the arias.
Yeah, I know.
Holy shit.
Yeah, Penelope's aria, they cast it so well. Oh, I am very mad that I didn't audition. I wouldn't have gotten anything. But it would have been nice to just have said, thanks for trying out message. Because Jorge would have done that.
Okay. Talking of the live stream.
Sure.
And we're going to get into this later. The antics made me laugh so goddamn hard.
I just love them. All the rowing and the matching outfits and the flirtiness between everyone and Talia, and it was just that.
Okay, I can't say this for later. Miko and Jorge, just a pack.
I know, it was so fucking funny. Jorge and Miko, just in general, was either adorable or hilarious. Because every time Telemachus was like, or Aphrodite, or Penelope, they all pointed to the characters. I thought that was great. I really did. I loved it. And Eurylochus and Odysseus and like the mutiny and everything. It was just like, the betrayal.
That was so fun. Okay, I feel like that was such a good closer to the musical, because it was like, what they did was so good, and it's like, okay, the way they like, I fall for you, and then they went into Just a Man, and it's like,
yeah. And that was a very good ending, because at the end of the day, poor Odysseus is just a guy who wants to go home, and all the gods are saying no. It's just like, guys, come on. If any of the gods should have helped, it'd probably been Aphrodite, because what the hell? She should have helped, but she didn't, because she's awful. Anyway, next song we should probably discuss is Hold 'Em Down, because this one does have a bit of
that was scary as shit.
Yeah, a bit of a bad sexual harassment scene. But at the end, good old Odysseus kills everyone, so, yay!
No, but not just the sexual harassment part, it's like,
yeah.
The part where they're talking about killing Telemachus was like, fuck.
I hate that it was such a good, moment, though, with all the voices cacophoning into, this, murderous rampage, but it sounded amazing. So it was just like, I got annoyed that it was so good.
For anyone wondering, I'm just trying to fix my mic so I don't have to twist myself so much.
She's still getting used to it. But hold on, I felt so bad for Telemachus, because there's that... Hasn't the guy suffered enough? First his dad disappears, then there's all these bunch of old men keep storming his house, trying to get with his mum, beating the hell out of him. And then he has to go away for a year, train with Athena, try and look for his dad. He comes home and his dad's already there. It's just kind of pointless.
And then he beats the shit out of the suitors.
Yeah, he does. He even manages to kill a few, so proud baby. Proud mama. Well done. But, the entire...
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you see the animatic that they put together for Hold Them for Odysseus when Telemachus comes in?
Yeah. He looks so dope with his little outfit and Athena motif. It was just like, go baby.
And the wings.
Yeah, I was so like, yes. You can actually hear Athena character tone in his backing, and I was just like, it's gonna be good when she comes back. It's like, yes. So yeah.
Okay, from the musical, who is your biggest character development that you like?
Ooh.
And you can't just say Odysseus, because everyone's going to say Odysseus.
No, I don't. I like Eurylochus' one. Because he started out as a brother-in-arms, and then he turned out to, just have enough, and then he mutinied, and then he was just like, I'm just so tired, I just want to go to sleep. And he died. I like Eurylochus' story arc. I mean, that and Hermes, but because he doesn't have any growth.
My one's definitely Athena, because she develops from this goddess who's ruthless and heartless to someone who's like, if we have land embassy, the world might actually be in a better place.
Yeah, probably should have thought of that before, good old Polites died. My poor baby.
How about Stephen Dickey turning up at the end of the Cyclops section?
Yeah, that was fucked. Oh, but it was good. To be honest, the entire live stream was flawless. I loved every second of it. And I do want to get the sweatshirt, but it's to get it to Europe, it's really expensive. It's 85 quid just for shipping.
Okay.
I'm not paying that.
So you know that thing you keep teasing me about?
Yeah.
I think you can guess what I'm thinking now that you brought up the sweatshirt stuff.
That you have to pre-order because everyone's freaking out about it. And we don't live in America, so it's got to be expensive. So, and as much as Athena loves you, yeah, I don't think Tegan's going to send you a sweatshirt to Switzerland.
Amy, when is your birthday?
25th of June.
Okay, that gives me some time to work with that.
You guys should try to find me first. I have no idea what it'll be in June. I'm just trying to get through a day, and then, yeah. Anyway, we should probably get back to this.
By the way, did you get rid of that demon doll?
I buried it. Does that count?
Yeah, that does count.
Yes.
I'm sorry I laughed as much as I did last night.
It's fine. It is haunted and terrifying. We should probably get back to Epic since we're going to be here for a while. So after holding down, it is Odysseus, and he basically just slaughters everybody. And I'm pretty sure we've covered that pretty well. So then it's I Can't Help But Wonder, which is my new therapy song, because, oh my god, poor Telemachus.
I started bawling.
Right? I did too.
That Jorge practically sings.
It was just the part that, like, my son, I'm finally home. And it was just like that bit. I was just like, just came out. I was like, oh, he's finally home. After all that yawning. He got close a few times, but now he's home. And it's just like, oh my god. 20 years. Jesus. I could feel bad for him. But that entire song was flawless. And Telemachus's verse was just, I loved every second of it. That entire song was, and at the end of it as well, where he actually, you know, he meets up with Athena again, reunites, and it's just like, I can't be nice anymore. I've suffered too much. And you can actually hear his, like, disdain and his, like, unempathy, I think is the word. I don't know. It's just that he just doesn't care anymore. He's just like, I just want to go see my wife. I am tired. I have killed a lot of people today. That entire song was just flawless. And Athena's just like, okay, you go. I'm sorry. All in her, like...
The fact that we actually got those two reconciling after my goodbye.
Yeah.
Finally.
Is it reconciling, though? Because it's basically Athena begging him to, you know, just come back and be the person that she, you know, she changed. And he's like, I can't anymore. I can't be in that world, because if it exists, it doesn't belong to me anymore because you made me into this thing. And it's just that, it's just sad. But it is very good for edits, I will say. That entire bit, it's just like, if that world exists, what I have to miss. I just like, fuck. Because that relates to so many characters I know. So yeah, it was a very, very good song.
And then I Will Fall in Love with You. Would you fall in love with me again?
I have no words for that. It was just flawless. I don't even know how he managed to do that. I don't think I could record one line of that without weeping. Oh. It's like even Penelope gives him a test because she's not sure it's him. She's like, I've changed into something you won't recognise. Like, how dare you? I am your wife. I knew what I was signing up for. I am Helen's sister. What the fuck? I know what I get into. I don't care if you've killed everyone, so is anyone else in my family. She's like, wow, still my husband, deal with it. Sharp. It was great. Queen moment there. Giving her a test.
No, but also, like, the way she asks, she, like, doesn't fully trust him until he proves he knows something only her husband would know.
Yeah. Yeah. And then after, it's just like, I have been waiting for 20 years for this. You are not going to sit there and be all whiny and say, I've got the same person. Like, you're still my husband. I'm still here. We're all alive. Who cares? I was like, and she, for each saga there is an epic, she was been waiting and she sings it. And it's like, my queen, no. She deserves so much better than him. Poor Penelope. Although there is a hidden song, which I have discussed in previous episodes, which I shared with you, which is called The Olive Tree. And I would have really liked it if they kept that in, because I quite like that one.
No, but they did kind of keep that in because he mentions, like, how, could you say this? I had built that
wedding tree from my planets, right? Yeah.
With my planets carved it into the olive tree where we first met.
Yeah,
which
but
is in the olive tree.
No, but I would have just liked an entire song dedicated to it because it's such a cute story. Like they mate in an olive tree every night, watching the stars. It's like, oh, it's so cute. But the ending as well is just that 20 years and they have no words, so they just sing at each other, and it's like, oh. And the last words of this entire saga is just, I love you, and it's like, that's a good ending. Slightly disappointing, but a good ending.
Yeah. Okay. Before we get into the rest of the musical, we have something we need to address.
Okay.
I think I sent you a few days ago on Instagram with, like, ask a friend which Greek god or goddess you are.
Yeah.
Okay. I've had so many responses.
Okay.
Give me 1 second. Where are my messages when I need them?
On your phone? Discord? I don't know.
No, I've got this pulled up on my laptop now because me being me, I naturally did this on my laptop. So, my friend, I've had one tell me I'm Apollo.
Mm-hmm. No, you're not.
Hold on. 3 people tell me I'm Athena and 1 person say I'm Hera.
I was thinking Hera, but you're a bit more sophisticated and, relaxed than her. Athena, I would say Cersei, personally, in my opinion. I mean, I asked my sister. She really did not care. But she just said, She said Hestia, which I can live with because Hestia's a baller. I love her. Keeper of the Eternal Flame, yeah. I can definitely see myself doing that. No people, hating them, just watching a fire all day. I can do that job.
I would say you are Athena. Like, out of the options that are on that video.
Wow. Out of the options on the video, I can definitely be Athena. I like Athena. I mean, if it wasn't for her pathetic, rivalry with Poseidon, then she'd be great. But, just saying, a bit stupid.
Yeah. Which one do you think I am?
Out of all of them, I'd probably have to say Hera. If out of all the ones on the video, it just seems like something you'd be good at.
I'm like vengeful. Me.
Yes, you're on your rugby gear, vengeful.
Okay. Yeah. Honestly, I am kind of vengeful towards one person. That's mainly after cooking bets.
Okay, don't even know, but okay. We should probably get back to Epic instead of discussing which Greek gods we are, because that's something that's so after the, because me and Kate, because of problems with the late night live stream in Ithica, which the Jorge tried to set up, because there was a storm and everything, people really didn't want him to be that. And the entire crew basically went to Ithica, and it took them all a while to get there. And there was a whole thing about Miko not being there. And it's like, I'm left behind, but he all turned up, so it's okay. But the live stream ended up being moved into earlier in the night, so people around the world could actually listen to it and not have to stay up until 3 a.m. and lose sleep, which is wonderful. So the live stream happened, and everyone was basically freaking out. There was a lot of captains and dinosaurs and rah-rahs. I'm a monster, rah-rah-rah.
And also, Amy texted me out of nowhere, and she basically, I'm gonna read your text that you sent to me. This is how you know we are us.
Yes.
Oh, give me 1 second. Where is it when I need it? I had sent her some stuff about Christmas presents I got, and then she was like, Kate, live stream, it's great, everyone, join. I was like, on it.
Yes.
That's how you know her and I are best friends, if we can send each other, like, a minimal word.
Live stream, get on it, now! Full warning, it got a lot hectic. I think at one point, there was 29, 100,000 people watching. It got crazy. And it was a whole thing. We all loved it because each song they sang, because they went through the entire sagas, the crew and the entire cast was there in Ithaca, all had matching sweaters, and they all acted out their songs and sang. I think my favourite was Scylla's, because she was hiding pillows, and then she came to us, she's like, hello, and she killed everyone. It was great. It wasn't very well hidden, but it was still a great scene.
Yeah. No, but I loved on the stream Dunfall.
Yes, that was good. I liked in because they swapped because Jorge and his girlfriend, they're very cute, him and Talia, I will say, but so they swapped roles and there are other ways of persuasion song, because she doesn't really want him to flirt with anyone, and it became a whole thing, and it was very cute and very well done, so it was awesome.
My favorite part, with the Cersei saga.
Yes.
My favorite part was after it released, and he posted the short that said, when you realize you said 12 long years instead of 10 long years.
Yeah. Well, he managed to fix it in the end, didn't he? I think my favourite part of the live stream was Troy's songs, because he got up and he actually turned into a party. It was so fucking funny.
The way, his jacket and stuff materialized, and he was suddenly Hermes, and then back to Troy, and then Hermes again. I
know, it's like they had it on hand. It was just he's everyone loves him when he's like that. I do love Troy songs, though, because he's great.
Speaking of Troy, so I follow Janine J. Carr, who plays Aphrodite on YouTube, and she posted this song of her singing an acoustic version of Royal We.
Yes,
and one of the lines is, Troy was breached.
And he was just screaming.
As she was singing that.
He was sure, yeah. I follow all the cast of Epic because I'm sad. So all the new content they made on Ithaca, singing down the well, going to Odysseus' palace, them on the boat, them imitating Poseidon because the voice actor wasn't there, them just skipping around, Troy and the Luke Holt just bonding in their little harmony saga, and being daddy issues. I just loved all of it. It was great.
Oh my god. Okay, can we talk about the daddy issues video?
Yeah, that was good. For context sake, some of the cast of Epic who voiced the gods, they basically acted out little scenes. So it was, I believe, Cersei, Hermes, Ares, and then Zeus as well. And they were like all comparing, like, oh, what are you drinking? Like, father's approval. And Ares is just like, I want 10 million of them. And Luke and Luke Hope, who is Zeus, just walked by and like, nope, not dealing with that.
No, basically it was like, it was meant to be like a Cersei and Hermes tea time. And she was like, oh, what does it taste like? And he was like, your father's approval. And she was like, oh. And then Ares, played by Earl Gresham Jr., who is amazing, slams down on the table like, I'll take 1,000.
Oh, you gotta feel bad for them. Well, they did do it great, because a lot of people hyperfixate on the gods and they act out scenarios in their heads about how they would interact, and I think that's a pretty good portrayal, because I definitely thought about it. Okay, let's see. I have a checklist of things. Can we talk about the animatics that happened just throughout the entire sagas, because they were all amazing.
Okay, let's go through. On that note, let's go through saga by saga and talk about the entire musical.
We're gonna be here for ages. Yeah, you start. I've got a checklist I'm doing.
Okay, well, since we've already done Ithica Saga, do you want to go saga for saga, like you do one, I do one?
Yeah.
Okay, so the Troy Saga, which is the saga that kicks everything off, starts with the horse and the infant, which has a beautiful illustration of when Zeus comes down. And basically it starts with the Greek in the Trojan horse's butt.
Yep. Sure.
I mean, realistically, how else are they going to get out of that? Because they're pretty much standing around in the Trojan horses, but like some other people who have like the entire lighting and stage setup for everything already written out. I'm literally just doing my thing and dancing and figuring out choreographies on the spot.
That's fair. So as we're going through the entire saga, you might want to talk about that instead of your wonderful hip hop dancing.
I'm sorry, because I was literally doing that earlier with the horse and the infant. And then we leave off with the horse and the infant with Zeus having come down and told Odysseus, we have a mission for you. You have to kill this baby. And he's like, I can raise him as my own. I can send him away from home. And Zeus is like, no, you have to kill him. He's being a total blunder, bitch.
Yeah, he's not a great parental model though, Zeus, is he? So can't be too surprised that he asked that. Just saying. So poor Odysseus has to kill the baby.
Odysseus trapped in indecision, which goes into just a man, which is where he does eventually have to kill the baby, but he talks about how he's been away from home and he's like, what's going to happen if I do? And then we go into full speed ahead where we meet Eurylochus and Polites, Eurylochus being Odysseus' lieutenant and Polites being Odysseus' best friend.
Yep.
And they find this island, and Polites and Odysseus go ahead in order to explore. And then we get the absolute bomb that is Open Arms.
Yeah. Good at Open Arms. Gotta love it. Yeah. I am listening. Sorry.
So then we go, from that we meet Athena, who is one of my favorite people. We keep bringing up, well, we both bring it up, but really, majority of the time.
Yeah, okay, I do bring up the Athena incident quite a bit because she was an idiot, and I like to remind people of their mistakes. Anyway, after Athena comes along.
And then Athena is like, and then Athena takes us back to when she first met Odysseus with the ball that he's like, show yourself, I know you're watching me, show yourself, and he tricks her and is like, I can see you, and she's like, how can you see me? He's like, ha, I was lying, you fell for my bluff. She's like, oh, well done, what's your name? And he's like, you first. And then
yeah, it became a whole thing. Odysseus basically played a god. Probably not the smartest idea he's ever had, to be honest, but he doesn't really stop doing that throughout the saga. He plays a lot of them. Anywho, then after...
And we leave off with Athena departing and telling Odysseus not to disappoint her, which takes us into the Cyclops saga. Amy, over to you.
Okay, within the Cyclops saga, they basically... During the last one, they said the Lotus Eaters, who Polites and Odysseus meet, basically said, there's an island full of sheep, you can have it. So they go, they're on the island, they find the sheep, they kill it, and then this Titan comes along and said, you killed my sheep, I'm going to kill all of you, because they're my only friends. So they basically end up fighting, and Odysseus, being Odysseus, tries to reason with him, tries to befriend him, and said, oh, have some of this wonderful lotus wine. And he said, okay, I'll have some wine. It's very nice. And then he's like, okay, I'll kill you last. And they were like, oh no, everyone scatters. And then poor Polites dies, which is very upsetting, as we all know. But, you know, he turns up a lot later during, like, every saga in some sort of way. So Polites is remembered. But after, you know, so basically the Cyclops, and after drinking it, after he kills a few, he ends up collapsing. And then during the songs, which are in the thing, then during Survive, I believe it is, what happened during that one? Oh, God.
No, it's Remember Them that they do the...
Okay. Well, during Remember Them, Polyphemus, who is the Titan or Giant or whomever, because he's not quite yet a Cyclops, because they do that during this song. They basically turn his club, which he uses to kill a few people, including Polites, into a spear, and they stab him in the eye, turning him into a Cyclops. I think, is it that, or was he a Cyclops and then he got blinded? It's one of the two. Anyway, after he stabs...
He's the Cyclops.
Oh, okay. So they basically just blinded the giant guy. Poor him. And Odysseus during it said, my name is nobody. And so after the poor giant is bleeding, he's like, I don't know, his brother or a god basically comes up, who are you? He's like, nobody. And they're like, okay, if no one heard you, shut up then. It's just your fault. And they leave him alone. And then basically they all scatter. And then poor Athena is just like, well, you should finish the job. And he was like, I'm not gonna do that because look at him, he's bleeding, he's watered, my friend's dead. So I'm not doing that. And she's like, wow, okay, so if you're not gonna do that, then I'm not gonna coach you anymore. So goodbye. And that happens during the song My Goodbye. And they fight. And it's a whole thing. And then after the Cyclops saga, I believe it leads into the Storm. So, which is Kate's.
We go into the Ocean Saga, which is one of the most chaotic sagas.
That's a easier way to describe it. Yes, go ahead.
So we start off with the whole storm, and we start off with Odysseus and his men sailing towards Ithaca. However, a storm picks up. Are you eating a Jaffa cake right now?
You had your lunch, I'm having mine. Oh.
And then they see an island in the sky, and Odysseus is like, Eurylochus, grab the harpoons, as many as you can find. And they shoot, and they take the ships to the sky. And then we get into Eurylochus' main song, Luck Runs Out.
Yeah.
Which I love. It is so good. Armando Julian is amazing.
Agreed, yeah, I'm not quite here.
And we find out that they are on the island of the wind god Aeolus, who is voiced by the incredible Kira Stone, who I seriously think I pissed off yesterday.
Did you bug her online?
No, I'm talking about like Aeolus.
Oh, well, she'll get over it eventually. Continue, because this podcast is going to be like an hour long.
So, well, we said we're going to record the entire thing now.
I know. I got a headache already thinking about editing. So, continue.
So, basically what happens is Aeolus gives Odysseus a windbag and says, do not open this or you won't easily be able to get home. And what happens is Odysseus stays awake for 9 days and starts hallucinating of his wife and his son. And it turns out that someone opened the windbag. And the storm takes them straight to the sea god Poseidon, who is the father of the Cyclops Polyphemus, who kills
Polites.
over 500 of the men, leaving Odysseus with 48 men, including himself and Eurylochus.
Yeah, that was probably a bad move.
And we leave off with Odysseus reopening the bag because they managed to capture some of the wind back.
Yeah.
And they use the wind to escape Poseidon. And we leave off in the Ocean Saga with Poseidon being like, remember me.
Yeah, it's a very long thing. Because Poseidon's like, remember me. It's like a long, drawn out. It's very annoying, to be honest.
Which takes us into the Circe Saga, Amy.
Yep. So in Circe, they basically crash into an island. And so in the Circe saga, they basically crash into an island. They're all still hungry and grieving all the friends they've basically just been drowned in front of them. So Odysseus takes Eurylochus, orders him basically to go scour the island, look for food, and come back and report, but don't engage anyone. He does. Okay, she's messing around. So they go off. Eurylochus comes back and looking a bit dazed and crazed, and it turns out, there's a witch on this island, guys. And, she turned our men into pigs. And he's like, what? Really? A girl? She can't be that distracting. He's like, she is. She's very distracting. So he's like, and then Eurylochus basically says, why don't we just abandon our men? Because we've already lost enough. We can just go home and leave them. And he's like, I'm not doing that, okay? I've lost enough men. I'm going to go do this. And I hope you would do the same if I was in this situation. So he goes off, trying to save his men, meets Circe. And she says that I just revealed their true form, not on my fault, during, her amazing songs. So we can't really blame her. In her song Puppeteer, she basically explains that I am the queen. I am protecting them from the harshness of men because you guys suck. Can't really fault her with that kind of logic. And she's like, so basically, poor Odysseus wanders off into the forest looking for some way to, defeat her. And he stumbles upon this very annoying trickster god called Hermes in a song called Wouldn't You Like? And he basically offers Odysseus drugs in some short form, basically giving him a plant he dubs Holy Moly, and says that, with this plant you can create anything you want. So he goes back, fights Circe in Dunfall, and he kind of tramps her. And then in the song, there are other ways. She's like, oh, you know what? If I can't beat you via fight, I'll beat you in another way. And she's like, tries to seduce him, which works as well as you can expect with a loyally married guy who's killed thousands for his wife. So that doesn't go well. And she was like, I can't sleep with you because I have a wife and I really like her. So I was like, fine, I hope you get to the underworld. I know this guy who can help you. And she opens the way to him and his men, releases them, changes them back, and then they go into the underworld, which is the next saga with Kate.
Yes, the Underworld Saga, aka the first saga that made me full on ball.
Yeah.
It is a 3-song saga composed of the song The Underworld, No Longer You, and Monster, which Monster is also one of the scare the shit out of me songs.
Well, it is a pretty scary song.
Okay. So, there's one section, I think it's after, I don't remember what part it is, but then where it's he practically is then I'll become the monster. And increases in volume.
Yeah.
But let's get into the underworld. So we come back with Odysseus explaining the tasks that they have in the underworld.
Mm-hmm.
And then they enter the underworld and instantly they're surrounded by the spirits of the men and the ones they have lost in their lives.
Yeah, it is depressing.
And of course, Jorge decides to torture us and bring back Polites for this.
Polites, and then it gets laid onto someone even worse than him, which is Jorge's own mother voicing Odysseus' mum, and it gets sad.
Yeah, apparently they had to multiple record that because they both started sobbing when she was doing the arias.
Well, you can't exactly blame her, can you? Okay, so after basically... Oh, Kate's frozen. You want to continue? Because it is your saga.
Okay, and then we get to No Longer You, which is sung by Mason. Do not matter me if I say this wrong. Oslavsky?
Probably. We'll just say him, because we don't know.
Who voices the blind prophet Tiresias, and he says, I can't see you getting home. It's no longer the same person, you are no longer yourself. And the song ends with Odysseus still in the underworld, surrounded by the souls of those he lost, and he's like, what if I need to become the monster we all fear in order to get us home safely?
Yeah, it's a bad choice for him.
And that's how we wrap up the Underworld Saga and Act 1. And so we go to Act 2 with the Thunder Saga. Amy.
Thunder. Well, basically, the Thunder Saga opens with them out of the underworld, finally, but with a bunch of sirens trying to lure them off the ship. And a very fake Penelope said, come into the water, it'll be fine. But Odysseus sees this as an opportunity to learn how to get home without, bumping into Poseidon. So, he plays along like a baby girl, like, oh, no, I can't. I'm too shy. What are you doing? No. It's very scandalous during suffering. And then during different beasts, though, it's when him and his men basically turn around and slaughter the lot of them. And while the sirens beg for mercy, he's like, no, because you wouldn't have spared me or my crew. So we're not going to do that to you. Maybe next time think about what you're up to. And his crew begins to realise that he's not the same leader he was when they left Troy. So they continue sailing, and then they have to go through this giant monster cave, which is the lair of Scylla, who is basically the goddess of monsters in the sea. And Odysseus basically knew this going into the cave and said, well, light up 6 torches. And this happens after he learns that his best friend and brother-in-law basically betrayed him, and when he opened the windbag and ran into Poseidon, which is kind of his fault that all his men are dead. So he said, light up 6 torches, you hold on to one, we go through this cave, and then we'll be on home free. So they go through this, and then poor Scylla says hello, and basically traumatizes the audience, and slaughters 6 people. And then afterwards, Eurylochus realizes that Odysseus tried to kill him and killed 6 of his crew to, continue on. And him and the crew stage mutiny against poor Odysseus, which is kind of rude if you think about it, because he's given a lot for them. He's like, oh, you guys are lucky to be alive. So just, be good about that. So they end up stabbing him, basically. And then when he comes to, after being stabbed and knocked out, they're on an island surrounded by sheep and the cattle even, in this home of Apollo, which is the sun god who we all love. Well, I do anyway. And, Eurylochus just basically slaughters them after Odysseus tries to gently parent him away from killing. And unfortunately, these cattle are like immortal cattle who are Apollo's friends, which is sad. And unfortunately, they incur the wrath of a certain head god, king of the gods, called Zeus, which leads us into Thunderbringer, which ends with poor Odysseus choosing himself over the lives of his crew and everyone dying but him, which leads us into the Wisdom Saga, I believe. Keep going.
Say it again, girl.
Yeah, you gotta have to say it again.
So, well, first of all, Telemachus is voiced by Ithica, who is an incredible upcoming artist. And then we meet one of the suitors out of the 108 who are currently present in the palace, who is Antinous, voiced by Aaron Alexander. And the two of them fight because Antinous, for whatever reason, decides it's okay to call Penelope a tramp. And we go into Little Wolf, where they are fighting, and then everything slows down out of nowhere, which is when we get the return of Goddess of Wisdom, Master of War, Athena.
She's very excited about her, girl. It's her favourite character.
Yeah, of course it is. I interviewed Tegan.
She's biased. Continue.
Quiet. That was my first ever interview I did was with Tegan, so...
Oh, you're allowed to be a bit biased then, that's fair.
And so we go into We'll Be Fine after Telemachus has the shit beaten out of him.
He did okay for his first battle.
And she's like, I had a friend before who was a lot like you. I failed him, so now I'm going to try and help you.
That's what annoys me. Why didn't he just tell her that his dad's alive and on his way home? That's really annoying.
And so we see the beginning of a friendship forming between Athena and Telemachus.
Friendship. It's more like a tutor kind of situation.
And then we join Athena in Quick Thought, where she gives us a recap of what has happened so far in the musical with one snippet per saga.
Yeah.
Since My Goodbye, which was in the Cyclops saga. So we get a snippet of Keep Your Friends Close from the Ocean saga. We get a snippet of Dunfall. We get a snippet of...
As close as anyone.
Going to be kept in the underworld.
I think it's Monster. I'll become the monster.
No, I think it's no longer you.
I don't think it is. Well, it's up for debate. Anyway, you can tell us in the comments or whatever.
It is. It's the bit where you take someone past romance.
Oh, yeah. And then it's Thunderbringer or whatever. Yes.
And then we see 2 snippets, pretty much, from the Thunder Saga, because that is the last saga before this one. So we see a snippet from... Actually, we see 3 snippets from the Thunder Saga.
Yeah.
We see a snippet from different beasts, Scylla and Thunderbringer, which leaves us off with Athena being like, Odysseus, where did you go? And we come to the island of Ogygia, where we meet Calypso.
It's not called that. It's a Ouija. It's like Ouija board. It's a Ouija.
On her island, and she tries to get him to fall in love with her, but he doesn't, and he is suffering from fear. And our last song of the Wisdom Saga is God Games, where Athena goes to plead on Odysseus' behalf in front of Zeus, and he's like, you have to get through all these guys before you can talk to me, and she does, and end off with Zeus striking her with a lightning bolt.
Which is really rude, especially since he's our kid. And supposed to be one of our favourites, but, you know, whatever.
Which brings us into the Vengeance Saga, our last saga of epic musical, since we have discussed the Ithica Saga already.
Yeah? Oh, that's me. Basically, basically what happens in the Vengeance Saga is he finally Calypso comes and tells Odysseus that someone is bringing him home and he is now allowed to leave. Finally. And poor Calypso is a bit upset. He's like, I'm not sorry though for falling in love with you because I am trapped here forever with no semblance of hope. So he manages to leave. And poor Odysseus, after leaving one god, bumps into our boy Hermes again. And he basically says, this is your final option to get home, because if you don't do this, you're screwed. And also, if you open this windbag, you're never going to get home, so don't do it. And he's like, and basically they vibe all the way into this giant sea monster, which tries to kill Odysseus, which is not really a surprise because most things are trying to kill him at this point. And so he fights this giant sea monster. He ends up drowning it, which is ironic, given it's a sea monster. And he finally manages to see his island, and he is so close from it. But unfortunately, Poseidon finds him and basically says, you're not getting home. You gotta fight me, and, you know, you're not getting home anymore. Which basically doesn't end well, because his song Get in the Water leads to Odysseus almost drowning. But he manages to open the last snippets of the windbag and fight Poseidon in 600 strike, where he basically uses all his rage and grief from the men he's lost to basically I would say torture Poseidon with his own spear, or trident. And he uses that to stab him again and again and again until he manages to convince him via pain and this method to release the storm which is surrounding him from his home Ithaca. And it works. And Poseidon's final question to him is, how are you going to sleep at night? And he simply said, poor good old Odysseus just says, next to my wife, drops the spear and goes home, which leads us into the Ithaca Saga.
Which pretty much I can give a quick summary on, and then we can talk about our highlights of the musical favourite songs, particular moments that stand out for us. So the Ithaca Saga pretty much wraps up the entire musical. It starts with us finally meeting Penelope and her setting a challenge for the suitors.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever can string my husband's own bow and shoot your expelled axes cleanly will be the new king, sit down at the throne and rule with me as his queen.
Yeah.
And we go into Hold Him Down, which is the scariest song of the whole musical.
Where the suitors basically say they're going to try and kill Telemachus, and once they've done that, they're going to try and sexually harass Penelope. Which goes as well as you expect. Odysseus overhears this and kills Antonius, finally. And then this leads us into Odysseus, where he basically just kills everyone in his path. And Telemachus helps out a bit too. And one of the suitors is like, please spare us. And he's just like, nope. Ends up killing everyone. Which brings us into I Can't Help But Wonder, which is Telemachus and his father's reunion, which is an emotional roller coaster. And then after they've met and hugged and, you know, catched up, him and Athena say goodbye for the last time, saying, you know, this is the end, I can't change, but you can make the world a better place since you're, you know, immortal. But then he goes and meets Penelope.
And we finally get the reunion we have all been waiting for, where the king and queen of Ithaca are finally back in each other's arms.
Yeah. And that is the end of Ithaca, the Epic the Musical, which is just sad, because I would like a new release of all the deleted songs, because I reckon that would be great.
Okay, putting it out there, we need a cut song Saga.
Yeah, we say that every time we discuss Epic though, because I would definitely like it, because some of his crew has songs, and I'd quite like to know some of them. It's just like the one that, if I had that baby, I'd eat it off the towel, because that song is just awesome in itself, because I quite like to listen to them. It's guilty pleasure. But I think, I am very upset that it ended, obviously, because it's epic and it's awesome. But, I mean, always going to end up doing something else, and we're all going to end up loving that. So it'll be okay.
Yes, okay. What is your highlight of the Saga?
Oh, well, I honestly think it's Calypso and Penelope. Those are my two favourite characters. Them and their voice actors are flawless. I mean, Penelope's aria I was looking forward to even in the beginning. So the Ithica Saga really lived up to its hype. And Calypso is just a happy coincidence that I like her voice, because it's heartbreaking and very relatable for a lot of people. But as well as that, Troy as well, because every song is a bop, just in itself, which is great. But yeah, I think those are my highlights. I would like more merchandise, cheaper merchandise, but that's just a personal preference. I know you're probably going to say Athena.
So my favourite, so I love the whole cast, like they're amazing, they are so good. Besides Athena, because like you said, I've had a bias with her since she was my first ever person I interviewed. Besides her, I love Troy.
Yeah.
His song Leo is in my songs album.
Yeah, Troy's awesome. Agreed.
And then I also love Colt. I think he brings such a power to it.
Yes.
And Talia.
Oh, I love Talia.
Chemistry that her and Jorge have done before. It's like, damn, wasn't one dude piss the other off before they started recording this?
He probably didn't wash the dishes. That's always a problem. But yeah.
Yes. Okay. Now we can go into our chit-chat session for a little bit. Look at this cool feature on the backstage jumper.
Yes, I did see that. It was like, oh, they got a little pocket for the thing. Okay, hold on. Before we start into our chit-chat thing, I think we should probably wrap up this podcast since it's almost like an hour 20 long. So thank you guys so much for listening to our Epic the Musical rants. This is the last one, unfortunately, because it's over now. We'll probably mention it throughout, the rest of the podcast we record. But thank you for sticking along, and make sure you keep listening and tuning in, because we're still going to do a load of more fun content for you guys.
Yes, and next week we will be back. We are not doing mythology next week. Next week we are talking all things books, because we have each sent each other a book that we have to read.
Can't believe you never read The Hobbit.
Tell everyone which book you will be talking about.
Fourth Wing, I believe, and Kate is doing The Hobbit, because she hasn't read Tolkien, which is a crime. So we will be discussing that. Thank you so much, guys, for listening. We will see you next week. See you later.